27, Big 550, KTRS. All right, let's talk a little Tony Dungy for a moment, because Tony Dungy basically called out the St. Louis Rams and called out Michael Sam. Tony Dungy, in an article over the weekend, Tony Dungy, former football coach of the Indianapolis Colts, won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts, and I want to say was the first black head coach to win a Super Bowl, right? That was the Lovie Smith, Chicago, Indianapolis, in which both were black coaches. One was going to become the first black coach to win the Super Bowl. Tony Dungy won the game, hence he broke a barrier, if you will. Tony Dungy has retired from football, and his son killed himself, I believe, and had to deal with that, and has been very open and very honest about some of the struggles he's gone through as a head coach. Very personable, from all accounts, a fine, upstanding gentleman. Also now is a analyst for NBC News Sunday nights with Bob Costas and everybody else. The Tampa Tribune over the weekend, he's quoted as saying, talking about the NFL and talking about the Rams, when asked by the Tampa Tribune staff, he said that he would not have signed Michael Sam. He says, I wouldn't have taken him. Not because I don't believe Michael Sam should have a chance to play, but I wouldn't want to deal with it. It's not going to be totally smooth. Things will happen. Now, the I find that interesting because, and for this reason, you never, when a player holds out for more money, right? What does his teammates say? Hey, man, that's the business side, and hopefully he can handle it, and hopefully he can deal with it, and as soon as we look forward to have him because we need him on the team, right? When a player gets arrested for drinking and driving, or throwing a girl down the stairs, or beating up a wife, or dragging somebody here, or a car accident, or drugs, or whatever else, right? What do they say? Well, hey, we just hope he gets his life together, and we want to get him back on the team as soon as possible. When that nutbag down in Miami was ripping on the one guy, who's that guy who was with the Rams for 15 minutes? Incognito, right? When that guy's saying unbelievably insensitive things in the locker room to that other lineman, did anybody say, hey, you know what? That Incognito's a bad dude. He's a bad seed. You should just cut him, and I wouldn't want him. I don't want to deal with all the garbage. No. They say, hey, you know what? I played with the guy. He's a pretty good guy. Maybe he's a little misunderstood, but hopefully he gets his act together, and we need him back onto the team. So no matter when the Rams drafted Lawrence Phillips, was there any NFL general manager or coach or former coach to say, I wouldn't have drafted him? That's a whole bunch of bees I don't want to deal with. Holy mackerel, that's going to be a nightmare, right? Nobody says that. So all these people who do morally horrific things, whether it's children out of wedlock, whether it's numerous baby mamas to the out-of-wedlock children, whether it's not dealing with child support or, every school, every class your senior year and just blowing off the school, or drugs or alcohol or beating up or violence or whatever, right? No NFL player, former coach, current coach, says, whew, Kansas City Chiefs shouldn't have drafted that guy. They're opening up a whole can of worms. I wouldn't want to deal with that. No, they don't. But it's okay for Tony Dungy to say, oh, boy, the Rams, whew, I wouldn't have drafted Michael Sam. Holy mackerel, I'm telling you what, there's going to be a problem with that. Now, what's the problem? What's the problem? What is the problem the Rams are going to have because they drafted Michael Sam, Tony Dungy? What? What's the problem? Because He's, from all accounts, he's a fine, upstanding gentleman. He went to class. We don't know of any illegitimate children running around. We don't know of any, throwing girls down the stairs. We don't know of any drug use. There's no, right? There's nothing in his background that says he is nothing but a good kid who's tried to play football and who was a great teammate down at Mizzou. So he shouldn't be, you wouldn't have drafted him not because he's gay, but because of the circus that surrounds him because he's gay? Really? Tony Dungy? How would you like it if an owner said, Tony Dungy's, I don't know, Tony Dungy deserves a coach in the league. I don't know, hiring a black guy. Ooh, boy, there's a lot that comes with that. I don't want to deal with that. Ooh, man. Ooh. That's for somebody else to deal with. I don't want to deal with that. Could you imagine? You imagine if an NFL owner said that? Could you imagine if another former coach said, Colts don't want to hire Tony Dungy? Woo! I'll tell you what. There's a big whole bunch of trouble that comes with hiring a black guy. You don't want to deal with that. Could you imagine? But because Michael Sam, through no fault of his own, mind you, because how other people might perceive him, or somebody might perceive the Rams, or a player might have an issue with it, because of somebody else's problem, he wouldn't draft Michael Sam. But he didn't say anything about Lawrence Phillips, didn't say anything about other coaches, other players, right? NFL players get in problems every single day. He doesn't say, I wouldn't want that guy on my team. It just seems to me like, and I know people are yelling at the radio, Millhaven, get over it, nobody cares. That's not true. Most people don't care. And most of the Rams players, let's say all the Rams players, don't care if the guy's gay. All they want to care about is if the guy can play. And if the guy can play, he'll make the team. If he can't play, he's not going to make the team. It's as simple as that. But to out him, or to somehow treat him differently than all the other, did Tony Dungy ever say, I don't want Leonard Little on my team? Woo, boy, that's too much trouble there. So here's a guy who got into a DUI and killed a woman. Well, no one ever called out and said the Rams shouldn't have Leonard Little on the team. But Michael Sam, whoa, that's a problem. So you have a guy who got drunk and killed a woman. No one calls out. But you have a guy who's a fine, upstanding citizen in all shapes and forms, and the only problem he's got is that the man is openly gay. Oh, it's too much trouble with that. I don't want to deal with that. That's really, talk about Neanderthalish.
Well, and based on jersey sales, you can make an argument that most people are behind Michael Sam.
I would say 99. I would say all the teammates are behind him.
Out of the entire NFL, he ranks 6th.
And if
in jersey sales.
If a teammate has a problem with Michael Sam, is that Michael Sam's problem? Is that the Rams' problem? Or is that the teammates' problem? Right? Tom Brady. I would have a bigger problem with Tom Brady in the locker room, knocking up women all over the place, as opposed to Michael Sam, who's done nothing other than been a fine, upstanding citizen. But, he's gay, therefore he creates problems. Really? Because there's never been a gay in the NFL. No, Tony Dungy, you've never showered with a gay man before. That's obvious. You've never coached a gay man. It's okay to be gay, just don't be telling us about it. I applaud the Rams even more. Seems like the only person who's got a problem with it so far has been Tony Dungy. Right? Has there been any other NFL player, maybe a couple of tweets from a couple of players, but outside of that, and also let me say this while I'm on the other subject. The discrimination in the African American community towards gays is, anecdotally speaking, is way worse than the reaction from the white community. When a white man comes out and says he's gay, as opposed to a black man coming out saying he's gay, the discrimination and the reaction is much harsher in the African American community than in the white community. And African Americans will tell you that, whites will tell you that, homosexuals will tell you that, heterosexuals will tell you that. that Michael Sam came, and that story hasn't been written either, is that it's one thing to come out as gay. It's another thing to come out as a gay football player, and it's a third thing to come out as a gay football player who happens to be African American. And Tony Dungy is the only one making an issue out of it. I guess now I am, but whatever. 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. Really proud of the Rams. I'm really rooting for the Rams this season. 1-800-NEW-ROOF said in the Tampa Tribune over the weekend that he would not draft Michael Sam. Not that the man doesn't deserve a chance to play in the NFL, but that all of the surrounding circus that comes with the pick, he just wouldn't want to deal with it because he said at some point something is going to come up and it's going to be a problem. Bev, you're on line 1. Now you're on the Big 550 KTRS.
Yeah, well, if anybody knows about that, he should, being an African American. You know what? I have no respect for any person that discriminates against someone else, especially when they know how they were discriminated, whatever their particular discrimination is. I find that so reprehensible. I used to like Tony Dungy. I respected the man. I wouldn't walk across the street for him now. That is the most ignorant thing you could ever say.
I will. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. It's being picked up all over the place. This is going to be probably the conversation people are going to have all week. But outside of a couple of tweets that day that he was drafted, there's been no one's called out anybody for this, right? Maybe it's been a wait and see.
Well, I'm sorry, but somebody should have.
Maybe for 99% of the rest of us, this Michael Sam story is over with, right? He was drafted. He's going to try and make the team. He's going to try and play. He's an openly gay human being, and so be it. But the fact that Tony Dungy, the reason why Michael Vick is in the league today is because Tony, after he spent 18 months in jail for dogfighting, Tony Dungy came to minister Michael Vick and vouched for him, which is why Michael Vick got a second chance in the league. So Tony Dungy will stand by Michael Vick after a dogfighting conviction, but won't, and all of the circus that surrounded Michael Vick coming back to the NFL, but won't stand with Michael Sam for all of the circus that surrounds him. It is beyond maddening to me. And I know Millhaven's talking about gays again. Somebody needs to explain to me why Tony Dungy would defend and try and protect and help Michael Vick, which is laudable. I think the man deserved a second chance. The man made mistakes. And I'm not just saying that because he's playing for the New York Jets right now, and he might help the Jets win a couple games. But I said it at the time. The man paid his debt to society. He deserves a second chance, right? That's Michael Vick. Michael Sam has done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong. The only thing he has done is he stood up and he said, "This is who I am." And yet Tony Dungy would defend Michael Vick and protect him and to help him get back. But Michael Sam, I don't want to deal with the circus. It is mind-boggling to me that in the NFL, you won't say anything about Ray Rice, who drags his girlfriend or his baby mama or his wife or fiance into an in and out of an elevator 14 different times. That circus I can deal with. Michael Sam, I don't want to deal with that. Let's go to Gary on line 1. Gary on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hey, McGraw, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that the black community does not support homosexuality. They are completely against it. And I think the reasoning behind Tony Dungy possibly saying this is that the black people don't see their struggle as being equal to homosexual struggle because they don't think homosexuals were born that way.
Mm-hmm.
and they're born black, so it's not fair that they were born black, and they have to struggle through that. But they don't believe that homosexuals were born that way.
Well, look, so I earlier made an equation that Jackie Robinson's going to have it a million times worse than Michael Sam. But there's some correlation in that if Branch Rickey would have said, I don't want to put up with the circus that's surrounding Jackie Robinson, that's not Jackie Robinson's fault. That's everybody else's fault.
Exactly.
So, that's Michael Sam just wants to play football. So Tony Dungy is going to have to answer a couple of questions. And going forward, he's going to have to answer, first of all, why? What's the circus that you're not telling us, Tony Dungy? What is going to happen in that locker room and on that team bus and on that team flight that you're talking about that you don't want to deal with as a coach? And then 2, how many gays will have to come out and play NFL football before you deem it to be not as much of a circus for you to take a chance on a player?
You're exactly right.
Right?
And not to mention the fact that he won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, who I believe is mentally handicapped. I'm not positive about that.
What?
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks for the phone call.
All right, thanks.
But the question is this to Tony Dungy. If Peyton Manning were gay, you wouldn't have drafted him because you didn't want to deal with the circus, right? So the question is, how big of a circus do you want to deal with, depending on how good the guy is? If Peyton Manning were gay, I'll put up with that circus because he's a great quarterback. Michael Sam, well, he's a borderline player. He might make it. He might help you on special teams. Well, I don't want to put up with that circus. Really? So you are evaluating the strength and the talent of a player based on something that has absolutely nothing to do with his talent on the field. And that is the exact opposite of what the NFL strives for, right? Because the NFL will go to they'll go to the moon if they can find a player who will help them win a football game. And when we had Les Snead on in the show, I asked him that question. I said, this proves that you and Jeff Fisher and Kevin Demoff and everybody else at Rams Park will go to Jupiter if you think you can find a player who can help you win. And it's like, we don't care. It's all about wins. We don't care who you are. We don't care anything about you. All we care about is, can you help us win? And Tony Dungy will stand behind Michael Vick, but Michael Sam, that's a circus I don't want to deal with. It's kind of a sad commentary. 9:52. Big to Jake KTRS. On line 6. Jake, you're on KTRS. Good morning, Jake.
Jake, yeah. I don't think it's fair to villainize Dungy for what he says and what he thinks and what he feels. Everybody picks their battles.
No, look, I don't. I think I want to ask him more questions. I want to ask him why Michael Vick should be defended, and you'd want to take a chance on Michael Vick, but not on Michael Sam.
He's got personal reasons, I have to believe, but I don't think he's saying he doesn't like Michael Smith, or
Michael Sam. Yeah, no, he just doesn't want to deal with the circus surrounding him. So he'd rather deal with the circus surrounding Michael Vick, who was convicted of abusing dogs and went to jail for 18 months, as opposed to Michael Sam, who just came out as a gay player.
And I don't think he's saying he doesn't like him.
No.
He's just choosing to pick his battles. That's all I have to think about that.
Yeah, no, but again, I guess it comes down. I'd also ask Tony Dungy if he believes homosexuality is a choice.
Oh, I think that's another topic, But
No. I think that's exactly the topic, because if Tony Dungy thinks you are born homosexual, then he's truly discriminating against Michael Vick or Michael Sam. Because if Michael Sam has no choice in the matter, that's like being a black player. So he's basically saying, I wouldn't choose a black player because of the circus surrounding him. Right? So the only way his logic is at all, at least consistent, is if he thinks homosexuality is a choice. And if it's a choice, well, Michael Sam can choose to live his life any way he wants. That's for the freedom of America. I did not hang up on you, Jake. You hung up on me, but I got to go. I'm out of time. We'll do it all again tomorrow, everybody. Have a good day.